Hello everyone, welcome back to Clout Chasers EP02. You're here with Ryan Bingham, aka Jack McNasty, aka That Boy Bing, alongside Peter Kent, aka White Chocolate, aka The Snowman, and lastly Curtis Spencer, aka Old Man River, aka Long Dong Silver, aka The Crypt Keeper. How are we doing today, lads? Are we okay?
Yeah, not bad, man, not bad.
I'm a bit sweaty.
Aye.
We've got to thank Isaac, 1709 Productions for the intro. Thanks for that, mate. So yeah, we've just came back from Gobble Up on Brett Road. We had a lot of gas.
Shop.
We had a lot of gas in the group this week about Curtis saying that flavour's nothing to him. Just to give you a bit of background, there's a challenge where you've got to eat 10 hot wings in 5 minutes.
These aren't hot wings.
Yeah, unaided as well, no
do
water.
it with ease. Tell them all you got on, Curtis.
So basically, there's an ongoing thing within our friends about food and culture, and people like to, because I will like, and I'll say on the pod, give me a chips, egg and beans any day, okay? But if there's a pot of good food there, preferably Jamaican, I'll still deal with it. So we've got this long running joke back and forth, pepper, who has flavour, who has spice, and we came across this challenge. And the advertisement of the challenge was quite deceiving, really, because well, it was because they didn't say lava wings, they said hot wings. So, we seen it advertised. I said, I'll do that. So Peter said, I'll pay for it to do it, sound. But really behind that, I'm thinking, I'm on my lassies here, that's a meal for the day. So
You've enjoyed it for sustenance.
yeah, I deal with that. So we go
well tonight.
So today we goes there, and I didn't eat. Well, I had a bowl of Rice Krispies beforehand, and
These excuses. Rice Krispies have made him fail the challenge.
so just gets there with my bottle of water, and then I was told you're not allowed to drink water, which was a bit of a setback.
Well, it is a challenge, mate.
Yeah.
So the wings
Otherwise
come
it would
out.
just be called 10 wings for a tenner.
The wings come out, and I think what we underestimated, or what I underestimated, which Ryan pointed out afterwards, is that actually, if these wings weren't spicy, could I down 10 wings in 5 minutes anyway?
Probably not, because this is a man who still has a Happy Meal from McDonald's.
So gets the wings, I seen the wings, boom, takes the first wing, I'm thinking, yo, this is blessed. Bit of spice, but the thing was a creeper. Started gobbling them, and
Hence the name Gobble Up.
as always, Ryan's there in me, and I had a bit of momentum going.
I meant him 3 wings in. 3 wings,
No, lad, there's only 3 wings left in that box,
Yeah, but you were quiet after the third wing.
No, you tasted one, there's no room.
No, but what I'm saying is you were sitting there going light work,
Yeah,
shouting
that's
it.
what I told you, the pepper was a creeper.
But it crept in, it started dancing on you the third wing, lad.
And then I was getting them, and then the sweat was just pouring. I could feel it coming down by my eyebrows. So unfortunately, I failed the challenge. But what I will ask Peter to say, and see if he'll be honest with the pod here, you had 1 wing afterwards, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously, I'm Caucasian, so spice isn't in a lot of my food, but I can still handle spice. But this wing is next level.
No joke.
Next level. This.
The man's smiling behind the counter because he knows what he's fucking
No,
doing.
he did. I think that was because of us though in the beginning saying
It's a challenge.
he needs it to be
You should
hot.
still be able to have at least 1 sip of water, lad. Bro, this is no... You see what's just happened to me mum? This is no joke. Heat, lad.
I want to say as well that obviously we're just describing what happened, but this will all be on our Instagram page, so go give us a follow if you want to see a black man sweat.
Not to be confused with some other guy.
What was the food like though, Peter, from there anyway?
Nah, I got curry goat and it was proper proper nice.
Tough to go back to fish finger butties, Peter, after that pretty go,
Captain Birds, I'll never be the same.
Yeah, but do you know what? I'm going to go back and do that because I can do that.
No, I don't think you can.
Nah, I don't.
The water thing was a
If
big...
you have it with the water, then yeah, but then you're not specifically doing a challenge.
No, what I'm saying is...
What you could do is eat 10 very hot wings over a undetermined time, but if you were to do it in the terms of the challenge, you wouldn't be able to do it, mate.
Levels. I'll give it to them, it's levels.
Yes. Speaking about challenges, this last weekend, sorry, me and Peter, as we're old men, we went up a mountain, didn't we, Fee?
Yeah. 4 months of lockdown has took its toll, is what I'll say, yeah. That and the fact of 34 years of absolute fucking destruction of my body.
You would have thought of 34 years of drinking and eating shit doesn't leave it in a good shape to get up the mountain. And when we say go up the mountain, we must say very slowly.
Yeah.
That's a trek.
Slow and steady wins the race, though.
Yeah, that was trek you've done. What's it like in
And when them 6-year-olds were passing us on the trail, no one felt any shame.
Yeah, her dad carried it for at least 100 metres.
What was the kids doing it?
Yes. There was these Welsh kids rigged out in like
the gear,
full mountain gear, and they're walking this same thing that we were doing. And
there's
me blowing, lad.
My kids couldn't do anything like that.
Nah, mine couldn't. I took my kid to Delamere and he said, we're never doing this again.
Yeah, the park's up the top of the street, and I get, legs hanging. Are you being sick? Can I get on the back of the pram? This is my son. So, but they're always in cars, aren't they? So, which is fault of ours, but they're always in cars, like.
My son doesn't even like to play out now.
Why?
He just wants to look at videos on the phone.
Yeah,
so if you give him an
get
option,
used to that.
Go and play outside. No, he used to be screaming, so it's quite bad. Need to get him out of that. So yeah, we had on this trip as well. It was a bit scary, wasn't it, Peter, when one of our mates, Nathan, had a little fall.
A little spill.
What happened?
Well, we'd made the summit, and weary, we head back down. And as we're going down, like one of our mates, Ricky, he's well ahead, like climbing around like some lizard on the rocks. And then a few steps back from this is Nathan, and I don't know what he was doing, but
I think he tilted his head to the side.
could have, you know, equilibrium just went, and then he slipped anyway and landed, and then his bag / head had pulled him over the edge, and he ended up like doing like a somersault almost, and rolling towards like the precarious edge. In 5 meters ahead or 5 meters behind, he's down a mountain.
There's a straight drop. It was quite.
This is air ambulance at this point.
At the time, it was quite a. Yeah, it's quite a.
It was, yeah. You could tell he was shook up as well, because it was just. So yeah, what's ended up happening is he's slipped, rolled, done a cartwheel, and 5 meters ahead or 5 meters behind, he would have ended up going full down like the steep part of the mountain. So easily bad injury at best.
See, this is the thing. I do want to do on the walk, but that just turns a good day into a nightmare, and selfishly I'll be thinking you're a fucking
words that I said at the time, respect the mountain. Know what it's about.
It sounds ridiculous, but it's necessary.
Like, I'm not saying it's like climbing Everest or anything, but still.
Did you get any like you know, advice or whatever?
We got 2 Sherpas before we.
What's
Two
that?
Sherpas before we started to help us.
Fellas carrying our bags up the mountain for us, and we just got them at the top.
Obviously not, there's no help or anything.
It's not base camp, mate.
So based on what we were speaking about last time, there was a lot of news that's come out about Wiley and his cancellation. Now obviously, last time we spoke about Wiley and his anti-Semitic remarks, which, you know, we all agreed were appalling. However, how does it make everyone feel, the fact that he's probably, I know there's a lot of talk these days about people getting cancelled, but has anyone actually ever been cancelled like Wiley's been cancelled?
Not to this degree, in my recollection anyway.
Just to let people know, he's been taken off Twitter, which is remarks were cut firstly on. He's then got a full Facebook ban, and now his music videos and his music channel on YouTube is also being taken down. So, like, from social media, he's off every platform now.
Anyone would think the people he was speaking about were powerful.
Exactly. But
that's it. The way I said this last time, you know, the way he's delivered it, yeah, lad, and this is where, and we had this discussion last time about certain people being in positions or attaining certain levels of celebrity or success, but actually they're still from, you know, where they're from, do you know what I mean? So they don't quite
articulate.
Yeah, the characters don't evolve with the success, they remain themselves. And so I think it's more, Wiley should be a bit more self-aware that he's not really that guy to be coming out and saying that. And I think he's been naive and think, because I seen a video where he said, what are you going to do? I'm self-made. Well, actually they've showed you.
You're not self-made.
Yeah.
They can take away the self-made in it instantly.
And they're going to take away what you've made. But to take away the offence from what he was saying, and as I've just said there in a joking manner, and I said in our group, didn't I, ironically, what he's saying, it's been proven, because now potentially his music career is done.
To play devil's advocate then, because this is what I've seen when I've been on Twitter, etc., and people have been speaking about it. If someone, because you're getting a lot of people saying, look, Tommy Robinson, Katie Hopkins and various others have been spouting things over a much longer period of time, while he's had 24 hours of a rant.
Yeah.
And he's been cancelled. Now, because basically some of the argument is what's Wiley done, which is worse. Now, do you feel, let's say, if someone went on a anti-Muslim, because what Wiley didn't do, with what Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robinson did to an extent, they can kind of hide it with politics. Now, it might be like extreme politics or quite obscure, like far right, etc. But it's still in the political. He's still speaking political language. Where Wiley's just came out. So if someone, let's say Tommy Robinson, just went on a complete racist rant about black people, about Muslims,
the likelihood is he would be.
Do you think he would get cancelled the same way, or do you think because Wiley has went against the Jewish community, that does get treated more harshly in society?
I think personally it does get treated, or it seems to, from what we've seen, or what we are seeing anyway, it seems to, because as you mentioned, regardless of their political sort of language that they're trying to, what they're saying is bad. Like, I've seen a video this week of like that dickhead Katie Hopkins, like in a baker, prancing about, pretending to be Shamima Begum, and everything that she's saying there is it's bad. You know what I mean? Even just the dressing up, being an arsehole on the video, that's pretty bad in my opinion. But
would she not then say that she's doing that against one person? Or we know what she's about.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I suppose, she's got the argument that she's only insulting a person, not a community. But we all know where their bread's buttered, you know what I mean? We know what she's
also, on. It comes down to that the community groups that Tommy and Katie are, let's say, speaking out against in sometimes an offensive way, they don't hold any power to cancel them. So let's say Tommy Robinson was speaking out, I'm seeing him go on GMTV, let's just say that was Al Jazeera. Then they could shut him down. They'd have more of a position to shut him down.
I think maybe the thing as well is, like it or not, Tommy, Katie, Hopkins, their views are quite mainstream, aren't they? They're not actually a mainstream view, which is more amplified, which is more extreme. But it's not like, it's like Wiley's what Wiley's done. Like, that doesn't get spoken like. And you know what's mad about Wiley's things? While he's silly, really, is, for all we know, he may have been ripped off, who knows, but because of the way he's went about it, that fact's completely lost. So he's not only cancelled himself, let's say if he has been done shady in business, he's actually lost the moral high ground by what he's done. So he's lost that fight already, and he's lost his whole career.
Basically, yeah.
The thing is, it's like with what could come though if he was smart. I don't know if you've seen a film called The Life of David Gale.
I haven't.
No.
Basically, he worked with this woman about the unjust death penalty. Kate Winslet's in it, and Kevin Spacey. He's an activist, and he meets this girl on a night. So people are getting the death penalty, and they're saying, listen, the evidence isn't there to support the campaign. Anyway, he meets this girl, a student, who accuses him of rape. Yeah. She accuses him of rape, and he goes to jail, Now, he didn't rape her, but what they do is they use this situation to inadvertently prove their campaign, and he ends up getting killed, and then Kate Winslet gets the evidence after he dies, and it's like, well look, this is why. And so, if Wiley had the right people around him, and it'd be difficult though to negate the offence that he's caused, but the proof is in the pudding of lad's career has gone. And there's another side to it as well, where you could say, hang on, what you're saying is offensive here, do you know why it's offensive?
Yeah, but he did actually say that he did want to learn, so...
He did want to?
He wanted to speak to... I think he did... Yeah, he kind of apologised.
See, that's what I'm saying, so there's another tack you can take, you know who you are, you know what influence you've got, do you know why this is wrong? And then you've got it, if he says no, well, I was just, then there's another angle. But you've just cut off someone's livelihood. And as I said, he's proven the point.
So, away from Wiley, or just, to bring it in general, if someone is racist, are we uncomfortable, no matter what people's views are, that they can be completely cancelled in general? So, take it from Wiley. So if someone said, this is Katie Hopkins' livelihood, these are her opinions, some people want to listen to these opinions, but then all the main social media said, we're just going to shut you down and you've got no livelihood, no one would be upset. So is it a thing of, we're saying it's not right for Wiley just because it hasn't been done to others, or are we saying like, should never be done, or it should be done?
For me, I think everyone has the right to an opinion, no matter how fucked up it is. But I don't think that cancel culture should be a thing. It's pathetic. And that goes across the board, not just for just Wiley or whatever. I just think if you don't want to see something that someone's saying,
stop following them. Stop
paying attention. I see most of the things that like Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robertson and all that. I see stuff like that, and I scroll on by. Now there's the odd one, like that one where she was being Shamima Begum. That was the last video that I watched, and it's probably been over a year since I watched anything else. And I just don't agree with the cancel culture, because you're getting judged on things, and who's to say further down the line you can't say, you know what, I was wrong. You're a person at the end of the day, you've got room to grow. It's
the society and the culture that they've built though, sorry Ryan, to protect the community, the said communities or the minorities, because what they've built in is this. So Wiley will probably get arrested as well for some type of hate crime, and I think it will be reduced to a hate incident. So once you've set the bar, right, if you do this, it's illegal and banned. It's very difficult then to deal with it in a different way, because you've set
the precedent.
I'm not talking about the legal aspect, I'm just talking from the social.
But it has to though.
But the thing is, I think this is the problem people have got with what's happened to Wiley. It's not so necessarily that it's happened, it's only happened to him. There's other people out there who are doing things over a longer period you could
no
say...
one's been as offensive and directly offensive and unfiltered offensive as him, and that's where he's going to have to take it on the chin. All this, well, they're doing this, and mate, you've got to take responsibility for your own actions, and you're smart, and as you said on the Sky News interview, you're 40 years of age, and so if you can't, and you also said on the interview, you've been in the limelight and the business for 20 years. So on that basis, you should understand, and as I said earlier, be aware of how your speech is viewed.
But he made a video, sorry, just to cut you off there, he made a video after the fact of that Sky interview, saying about, I knew what you were going to do. Well, if you knew what you were going to do, Why did you let yourself fall for that track?
I think also, lads, you know, just on the way he moves within his...
He's just nuts,
man. Yeah, I think there's something in him that he's got a bit of a maverick, press the red button element, and that's just him. That's just his character.
Yeah. I think his character has always been a bit like that, so yeah, fair enough. Back to what you were saying, Peter, with cancel culture in general, I do feel that you're right in a sense of once we start saying this person's cancelled, it's a snowball effect, because I could have said something on my Twitter 10 years ago, but now if I go for a certain job, someone can scroll back and say, look what he thought 10 years ago.
And then you're judged on the person you were 10 years ago. Yeah. I am a completely different person now to who I was when I was 18. Like, we were knobheads back when we were 18.
Yeah, for yourself. Well, it happened to that MC, didn't it? That drill MC. He's a white drill MC. And he come out with it, which was a very good freestyle, and he used Yoruba, which is a...
Is this the lad whose brother's just been killed or something?
No. Which is a Nigerian... I think it's a dialect or a language.
It's a language, isn't it?
And the freestyle was sick the way he switched it into Yoruba. And he blew up on Instagram one day, yeah? The next day, bro, the Twitter devils have said that, but look what he said 10 years ago.
It's like 5 years ago, man.
And he's saying he doesn't like black girls, and he's making jokes about black girls and basically being very offensive towards black girls. And I don't want to say, but I'm not sure if he used the M word.
I don't think he did. What he said on his interview was all his mates are basically black. So he's basically the London version of Peter. And basically when they were having jokes and stuff like that, he's getting involved. But that's banter basically. What he's saying is, he's took his own in-group banter and he's put it on a thing. But you wouldn't think, as I said, if you're 16 having this banter, or your mates are having it and you throw in, obviously you shouldn't have done it. But now, 5-6 years down the line, people aren't thinking, oh, well, all his mates, they're just saying, you know, and that's the thing. The worst one I seen was, I think it was a Star Wars movie, maybe incorrect, but there was a director who got the job, and then he was going to direct a big Star Wars film, and then he lost it because of tweets that he sent out when he was 13. Yes.
Imagine dropping that bag.
But this is the thing with social media, it's like, you've got to be responsible on there, bro.
You've got to tell, basically with your kids and stuff like that, this is
everything can come back.
It can come back, yeah.
I mean,
it's not so much, I don't think it's so much our generation. I think the next generation have really got to be careful, because they post a lot of their stuff on social media.
Even our generation now, because we're going to be working, thanks Tories, till we're like 67 and that, you know what I mean? So we're still going to be subject to these rules, but just as ripe old men, you know what I mean? This is what's going to hurt us. Like, I work in the technology sector, so I kind of keep myself up to date with certain things and whatnot. I don't think I'll fall flat, but I think with the people who aren't as technically, so they've got to watch themselves. It could bite any one of us from this point onwards. Social media is a gift and a curse.
It is. Just talking about it, obviously, Peter, you probably know more about this, but Twitter's now trying to create a paid service. Yeah. So just so I can ask you the question, is this an add-on to Twitter, or is this just, I love Twitter, it's my favourite social media, but am I going to have to pay now for
At this minute, it's undisclosed. It's just that, like, the hiring, this is how it's been found out, the hiring to create a paid service within Twitter. So whether it be Twitter itself, or whether it be a spin-off of Twitter, like as in you get premium features or whatever, premium Twitter, all that, it's probably more than likely going to be that, because I think they've kind of missed the boat on a subscription service after settling in for so long and then not moving to one. You're leaving yourself open for why am I going to do this when it was all free?
What premium service could be offered that you're going to pay for tweets? Basically,
it is where they might reduce functionality on the actual Twitter and then include that in real Twitter.
You've got more access, or your tweets will get fingered to people you follow.
Yeah. Or it could be more like you pay for us and we'll push you towards the people that you should be seeing your tweets.
Yeah.
Like just the algorithms have changed and shit like that.
I think as well, what's interesting, one thing I think would be benefit of paying for it is it could reduce trolling and like people using anonymous accounts.
Well, this is
that one of the,
yeah.
because that's the first thing I thought is, obviously you've got people who are just going on trolling people, saying all kinds, but it's all under the
anonymity
of the internet. So you can say whatever you want. So, and this has been a problem for, you know,
since it's begun.
since it's begun.
The thing is though, people say it's a problem, but it you know, I'm guilty of watching a video and going straight to the comments.
But the thing is, Curtis, you know why it's a problem? Is if you got one, me and you walking around as black people, how much racism do you see? How much racism do you get directly? Hardly any. Yeah, like direct.
Yeah.
You got one any social media video
right.
of anything with his ethnic minority, it's just racism. So it's just everything, because people have got there's no comeback, you know what I mean?
No accountability.
I actually think it's going to be bad for the kids who were like, because they used to chat and shit on Twitter. When they go into the real world, I think a few people were going to get their heads
get tumped up.
They're just used to saying what they want without any comeback.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it is like that now with the kids. I don't even know.
They're probably not saying it to each other in the flesh and then go home and slate each other on the internet.
If we, again, going back to if we were younger, no one would be as outspoken, because you knew once you land at wherever, Bashmans, the Unity, you're getting tumped up. And that's rightfully so. That's right, lad. Man just saying things on there. And there's no, as we said,
there's no comeback.
Accountability. But I don't know whether the subscription will disrupt the current Twitter service, for want of a better phrase, because, you know, if you're a paid subscription and that takes your access level, let's say, higher than mine, then that interaction's lost. And so what do we do with celebrities who we want to follow, who are probably the carriers of this service?
Yeah, they are,
See what I mean? So I don't see how that can really work. It might just all be gas, too, because there's been a big call on them since this, you know, Pizzagate and da-da-da-da, and that girl. No. What's the way? She's married to John Legend.
Christy Teigen, she's locked her account now.
Listen, what are you doing about this? Because you aren't doing nothing. So I think it's a comeback from that, really.
So it's from trolling, basically.
Yeah,
it could be, yeah. It
definitely
could very well be, but they're quite tight-lipped on it at the minute. But it also could just be they've seen how well like OnlyFans is done to like.
What's that?
I don't know. A guy told me.
But yeah,
OnlyFans has been smashing it on it and just basically raking it in. Smashing it's probably not the best.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Well, I've done my bit to help them.
You go to college, you do whatever you do with that $5.
When I thingy came back around, that wasn't, before I went on that wasn't a thing. And then when Mum was going on about this OnlyFans thing, what the fuck's this? And then
it's just like the leaks and all that came and all that.
Yeah, the leaks and
So would you say this is a, like, you know, society's morality? Is this another?
Yeah.
Some people will say, you know, we're just becoming so open and
finished.
This is another step.
It went from, I believe, and I'm not trying to be misogynistic here, but it went from Big Brother to The Only Way is Essex to kind of selling section and kind of upmarket escorty way to the point where being an escort now just it is what it is for the sake of
it's a legitimate.
There's no more crawling brasses.
If you know, go on Instagram and you see, you know, people flying all over the world living a high lifestyle, it looks good.
It is what it is. And so it's gone from that to now, well, actually, no, I'll just do my own thing. I'll create my own business around this sexual service. And it's
one thing I will say, I've seen something in the paper. Definitely don't follow it myself. Like, I never come across these kinds of things, but they seen this thing on the Daily Mail website with this girl, Jordan Lockdown, has made like 100k from OnlyFans. So my question to you, Stu, is you go on the internet one day, somehow you slip, your
hand slips
onto OnlyFans and you see your missus on there, you run home to her, you're listening, you kick off, and she goes, but babe, look at me bank balance, and let's say there's 50 racks in there, and she's made that in the last 3 months, and that's going to be a consistent thing. Where are your morals going, lads?
I'd say, you silly bitch, why didn't you tell me?
Let me get the camera. Get the better angles.
For me, I wouldn't say I'm very, but my insecurities couldn't deal with that.
I'm directly in that boat. Although, imagine that though, like, maybe if it's put on your toes, you're going to think differently, but...
It's just woman's taking your kids to school, lad, it's not good, lad. And then, you know, what comes from these men who are spending this money, I've got a yacht here over in, you know, Croatia somewhere. Well, and how much? He said 5 grand, well no, he said 15 grand now. So now, how far are you taking it? Like, you've let the devil in and you're going to let him run riot.
So you're saying that it can go anywhere from that?
Yeah, of course.
To be honest,
it's got potential.
It just depends on you as a person, because
Brian,
I'm just going to say, for me, I don't have a thing for money like that. Like, I don't have...
What's
like, I'll do anything for money, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Not when it, like, if it was my OnlyFans. Well,
you can sign up now.
Yeah.
For the special.
The link will be in the pod.
I'm too insecure, and although I'm not as, I haven't got that same morality around money as Ryan has. No, not really bad, but...
Money's important. You want to be able to look your missus in the eye and not go, what have you done for this?
Yeah, you'd probably be walking, imagine just going for like a meal with your missus and
it's pure
hey,
and
get on here over there!
And the waiters being extra friendly. You're like, oh, is he one of the
extra chips?
The punters.
Yeah, and I just think it's, but a lot of it does, and I also think, I don't know if there is a male OnlyFans.
Yeah, there is.
Well,
tell us more, Ryan.
Even that, it's just like, I couldn't have my girl doing stuff like that. Especially, you know, especially at this age, your girl's more, she's going to, whether you're married or not, if you're with a girl and you've got kids, then all intents and purposes, that's going to be you. Can you really be looking at her when you're 60, thinking you've been getting your ass out for other fellas so we can live in?
I'd assume it ends up, I assume it's not like that.
No, but what I'm saying is
definitely a shelf.
5 more years, love, until you're in pension age.
But then again, like, you're gonna get fucking
niches.
Yeah, you're gonna get sick fucks.
Gilfs.
Gilfs. Sick fucks who are gonna pay the extra for that kind of
fetishes
content.
Well, I'll just take that one step further.
So if your girl said to you, look, do it for a year, 150 racks, that nice house, like that, no mortgage, bang, done, and then I'm out. You gotta give it a. And she's already 3 months in. Let's change the scenario a little bit. You gotta give it. She's got 50 racks after 3 months. Yeah. So she'll have 200k by the end of the year. The house that you just want, 200k, no mortgage for the rest of your life, and then that's it. It's done. But you've got to give it a contrast, that situation, or you're on the breadline, you know. You're living a comfortable, a comfortable life. No. She's already 3 months in, knowing that scenario. No. I'm saying, yeah. Right. She's 3 months in.
For a penny.
Yeah, she's already 3 months in.
For a penny, in for 200,000.
Is OnlyFans viewed then in that, with the same, keeping with the same scenario, as she crossed the line of cheating?
It's depending on what content.
No, but alright then, yeah. But so alright, because she is 3 months in, and you're saying you wouldn't do it, is that basis of let's spend the 50 grand and the relationship's over? Are you walking away and saying that?
You'll have to treat me good for a month and then disappear.
Is that a betrayal which you feel?
Yeah,
that would be.
I think personally it's a betrayal from the get-go, just because she's gone about it without you knowing and doing it all in the shadows.
But if she said she
wanted, then there's where the cogs start wearing.
But what if
she's done this for 3 months and I didn't know?
So if she
what else have you been up to?
If she came to you,
then the madness keeps
that's what I always, my mind, I just think of more and more scenarios of one thing. So What would you think if she just came to you and said, "I've just had a bright idea and wanted to do it anyway"?
Yeah, you'd be fuming like.
The thing is, it comes down to the.
But at least she's come to you though. No,
lad.
And then you can just shut it down. And go,
it does say a lot about it, like what the thought process is. Though,
Again, it's no good for them cogs, and you know,
they're
gonna turn no matter what.
The trust's done. I think you view your girl differently as well. If you truly loved your girl, you can't view it the same. No one wants the girl that. Everyone wants the painting or whatever, but you don't want the girl that a man have seen her doing certain things. The wickedest thing would be if she was a prude in the bedroom for you, and then you go, "Oh, let me see this OnlyFans," and she's moving different. That's what would.
Then you've got to ask your questions about yourself and your own performance.
What? Well, go on then. Sorry.
Oh, so okay. So the next one, just not a real serious one, to be honest. So another scenario. This is a scenario-based pod. If you haven't gone into it yet, you come home a bit early from work. You can hear noises coming from upstairs. The noises no one wants to hear.
Someone's put my PlayStation on. How dare you?
He's got his own save. He's been playing with your ultimate team on FIFA.
Doing me kill death ratio. But anyway.
Your ultimate team on FIFA transfers have been made and he's goosed your wife. Which one's worse? No, seriously, you come in, you go home, you go upstairs, and there he is. It's good old Mike Tyson or equivalent.
Yeah, the quintessential hard man. Yeah. Someone you know that would just absolutely annihilate.
So do you just go there? Are you in a rage where you just attack? Do you just walk out? Or do you just make him a cup of tea? How many sugars, Mike?
I've always said this in this.
Are you comfy there? Do you need another pillow?
this thing of a relationship, like, I'll let you know when I've kind of thingy, because I need to explain it, because I've always said, and I'll give an example of when I've actually put this into play. I wasn't cheated on, but my girl cheated on me. I don't care whether I can tump the guy up or can't tump the guy up. I'm not going down that road for the reason of, might get my ass kicked, so there's the double whammy.
Yeah, that's a double whammy there.
And secondly, again, at the age we're at, man will do what a single man, or whether or not he's single, man will do what they want to do. Your trust isn't in that man, your trust is in the girl. And I've never had.
That man hasn't done anything to
that's why
you.
That's why
he's just done what fellas do.
So that's why I made the scenario, not if you found out she was cheating, like you found a text message, because I think we all would agree it's the girl's fault. You're not in a relationship with the man. That's why I've said you've walked in, so the dynamic's different.
I'm gonna say, yeah, like, no matter what, even if I'm getting whipped, which is most scenarios, like, we're going at it, like, we have to.
See, I've got, like, I don't want to dob anyone in here, but I remember in one of my previous relationships, and this is where I don't have this, like, bravado type macho man thing. We were in bed, and this fella was, I feel bad now, like, but he was doing his birding outside, broad daylight, half 8 in the morning, giving it a few slaps. So my girlfriend at the time had this bright idea, so she's going to run out and intervene. Now, what I said,
my missus would do the same.
What I said, and I'm not a fan of this. I said, well, you run out there and you get me beat up, I'm going to beat you up.
Oh my God.
I was a lot younger. Point I'm making here is, lad, I don't have that thing of, like, I don't know what it's called.
Self-preservation. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm
not for the have a go hero thing. Mine is mind your business.
Yeah. I think the problem is because what I've seen.
Quad or something at best.
Just, you know what I mean? You can have a go. If you're a have a go hero, but you know what it is. It's certain circumstances. It depends, because sometimes though, if you do have a go, you need to realise anything can happen to you from there. You see things where people intervene and then people die for intervening. And it doesn't sound good, but this is the reality.
I watched something, right, on BBC, my bed, like, watch this, so it's ambulance, and this guy, right, some guy has crashed drunk or something, and this guy goes out to help him, you're alright. whipped. He battered the old man. Battered him though to the point where like the ambulance came, not for the drunk driver, for the old man.
Well, I'll just give that example I've just given you. My thoughts at that time was, it's 8:30 in the morning. Right, any man who is so brazen to commit this type of behaviour in broad daylight has got no regard for the law. And by extension...
Let's have it right, he's out at 8:30 because he hasn't been home yet.
Yeah, they both haven't.
They've been on it.
Yeah, and he's got no regard for the law. He's probably under some of the influence of alcohol at the very least. So he's got no respect for this fucking, you know...
If you're willing to punch up your missus in the streets at 8 in the
joke.
morning, then you've passed the line of caring what's going on.
But I think back to Ryan's situation...
It's not my situation. This is not based on real events, by the way. It's not my situation, it's Ryan's scenario that he created. He made it up. That time when you walked in and your missus was getting banged by Mike Tyson, that was a real bad time for
I wouldn't...
The agony aunt section of the pod has begun.
I don't know whether... I don't really think your emotions should be everywhere. Whether it's Mike Tyson or not, I think personally, you're switching.
Yeah, you're gonna have
You're switching, bro. And I think you're going to end up in some serious legal hot water because...
That's the thing, everything just goes out the window.
Yeah, you're switching it.
Crimes of passion.
The problem your missus has in that situation is if you can batter him, she's finished. Yeah, once he's done him, she's finished, and then it's a double-edged sword because if he whips you and gets off and you two have to reconcile, then it's only violence that can...
Imagine having to reconcile after getting beat, you know. Like, you're on the floor, I'm sorry.
Just to
She's
go,
tending
Look
to
what
you.
you've done to me.
I remember one time.
This is, and now, what will make it worse, she starts getting on you saying, you knew this would happen, did you see the signs of him? And you still had to try it, didn't you?
And I remember one
Can't
time.
help yourself.
And in a lesson with me, I was on the East Lancs with mother and children, and we were in the car, and so someone's cut me up.
Oh, don't get me started with
So
road
they
rage.
cut me up. So I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Lad, it wasn't even the man. The woman absolutely domed me, lad.
In the passenger?
Listen, domed me.
That literally happened to me on Alton Road the other day.
He's sitting there like this. I went in, what the fuck are you doing, you dickhead? The kids are in the car and that. She leaned over. I think it was more the shot. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Absolutely domed me. So I'm sitting there. Then he drove off, lad. I felt so embarrassed. Started arguing with Lisa to take the why didn't you fucking say something then? I didn't say something.
Nah, I've had a scenario, right, where like a woman's had me off. Like, I've been driving home and this transit van pulls out at a roundabout. I've got right away, just pulls right out in front of me. So I've slammed on, beeped the horn, and then they've drove a bit further. I've been up their arse still, and then they've brake checked me. Like, they've slammed on with me right behind them, so I've had to slam on. And then I thought, this, like, I get red mist in these scenarios all the time.
Yeah.
Flew past them anyway in the car, jumped out, and I'm thinking, sound, I'm having it with this guy in the van. Bounce out the car, it's a woman. This woman has brake checked me and is waiting in the car. Lad, I got over it, and you know when you're ready to just have aggro with a fella, and then it turned out to be a woman, it just switched completely. It was like, the fuck was that for? You know what I mean? I can't do nothing. And then it just went, you're a fucking dickhead, and then fucking jumped back in the car. But knowing how bad of a knobhead I looked to the full carriageway.
Yeah. Wait, look at that man attacking that woman.
Yeah, exactly. It was fucking horrendous, that.
Yeah, so I don't know what I do. I'm switching, personally.
You know, what do you think is Sancho to United then, Curtis? Have you seen much of him? Or is this a thing where you've been told he's a good player?
No, I've seen him.
So
I've seen him.
everyone thinks.
Obviously, I don't follow the Bundesliga. I think a player that leaves City to go to Germany at the time he did is obviously ambitious, because you could sit at City and probably could sat at City, got a nice little wage, and then went off to a little mid.
No, but he would have been by this time.
Fabian
would have
Delph.
Yeah.
It would have been a bit, but it's a different. He would have been like, I suppose, Phil Foden. He's starting to come through now.
Yeah.
But the
there's no
ambition...
guarantees though in his positions that like City are always going to buy big in them positions.
Yeah,
You've got to basically do what Sterling done and just make yourself.
You've got to make your own lane.
But,
you can't.
so to go back to your question, so I rate the ambition. I've always rated the ambition. Seen flashes of him for England. I like to look at stats, and I think any 20, 21-year-old who is responsible for under 40 goals in the Bundesliga is a good player. I think will he come? I see it's, and I know this myself. We all know this ourselves. You take yourself out of a certain environment, yeah. You go work in an office in Wigan for a month. Your productivity, and you're staying in Wigan. You're not around us. You know your productivity and your application is going to be bang on.
Not necessarily.
Well.
I just keep thinking, fucking hell, I'm in Wigan.
No,
the thing is with that, Curtis, you're thinking from your perspective. But there's people who go away and you become homesick, and it can work
the
two
proof's
ways.
in the pudding though, because he's progressed. So the fact that he's gone away, he's progressed in his career. I think the only slight worry I have, the potential is that he's come back. He's coming back on high wages. He's coming back to United, and will he be able to transfer that? Now it's quite bad there because I'm undermining his professionalism.
Yeah, you are.
But that's my only worry with today's player, lad. That's my only worry with what he's got. I think it's quality, and I think he'll fit in. And actually, I think he's quite what we need. Not only to add quality. But when you've got Greenwood, Martial and Rashford, who's burning them for places? No one. No one's burning, no one's pulling at their shirt to say, if you don't score or you don't play well or you don't, no one's, so now you haven't got a James, you've got someone who will come.
Yeah, but Sancho was surely starting the...
No, I know, but I'm saying...
That too, the money he's coming in for, he's going to be the first name on the sheet there.
But it raises the game of those in his position.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you've got good players, all a similar age, what I think United are basically trying to do is they're probably looking at Liverpool and thinking, and there's some, I'll ask Peter the next question as a Liverpool fan. United are looking at Liverpool and thinking, okay, Mane, Salah, Firmino, they're the three main players. They're 28, 29.
Yeah.
So what United are doing is Rashford, Martial, potentially Sancho, Greenwood, they're all 23, 24.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it, and not saying they can't compete now, but in 2 seasons, Liverpool's players are getting old. So I think that's what
I think that's another thing, but I think people underestimate Ollie's, I wouldn't say his history, I know people remember him for the goal in the Champions League final, but you watch a team of his era.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with his management?
Well, that's what he's trying to replicate.
So the football's moved on.
But has it really? Because we're still playing well. If you watch a team...
He's played well since lockdown.
That's what he's trying to replicate. I don't necessarily feel, and I know it pains me to say, I know you're alive this, I don't necessarily feel we're looking over at Liverpool. I think what Ollie's gone with is a strategy that he knows he's played in and has been successful. Why reinvent the wheel? That's what I think he's doing. I think the thing with Liverpool, what you're saying is, that's just a analysis of how it could be, but I don't really think.
So that. You don't think he's got one eye on Liverpool thinking?
I think he's copying the philosophy that we started with when Klopp came.
No, I don't think.
Young.
I think one thing I will say though, sorry, cutting you off, is obviously I agree, Curtis. I think Ollie's got a style, and it's a style based on athleticism. That's never, it doesn't matter what era you're in, you put rapid players together, they're going to be dangerous, and that's what United is.
Speed kills, huh?
So Peter, getting back to you, Liverpool are potentially not really going to be that active in the market.
Yeah.
Do you feel you're just resting on your laurels at all?
See, I never like going into a new season without bringing someone in at least, just to try and freshen it up and give other players that, as you said, someone fighting for their shirt. I never want to just sit there and say, okay, we're the perfect team. because that's not true. Every year you get older, every year you're going to lose a bit of your sort of zest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not to say that they're still not fucking unbelievable players, by the way. But I think with you getting Sancho,
if they get Sancho, because it's hit the rocks
it looks more than likely that they will get him. I think at the minute it's just a bit of posturing to try and fuck about with the fee. But if they get him, then it sort of nails on that Salah won't be leaving for us, I think.
I've had this with Ryan. I just, as a United fan, right, I don't get this like thing of, right.
Most of us definitely underrated.
What I'm going to say here is this, yeah. There's a handful of players as a United fan that I have for, I don't even want to watch this game because these are playing against Liverpool. Fernando Torres, because he absolutely had Vidic on strings and was in his head. Luis Suarez, because he was just Luis Suarez. And Mohamed Salah. Now, I don't get this thing of like, he is...
I don't want him to go.
Yeah, don't sell...
Let's not make any mistake here, I don't want that.
You don't sell Salah.
You don't a thing.
You don't sell Salah.
But there's talk at the end of the season, he's saying, I don't know where I'm going to be next year. Then Klopp's coming out and saying, I don't know who's going to be in my team next year. So there's all this, and then there's paper talk, he could go here, there, or whatever. It sounds like he could have his head turned with the current situation that you're seeing in the media and what's coming out. But we can only sell to buy. We're not a City. We can't go out and go, yeah, you play for us now. And then not have to like sell to make that purchase.
It pains me to say this, but people go, oh, they're not a City, no sales. Look what he's done.
So basically,
look what he's done. So sorry, Ben. The proof is in the pudding.
No, but if you're at the top of your game, then you can't afford to get rid of top tier player and then bring in someone to build on. You've got to bring in an instant replacement at this level now. We weren't at first. We were a shit team when Klopp came, and we've gradually built to the team that we are now.
What I'm getting at, case is, I think what the talk about Salah is, it's not, no one's, you're getting it confused with people aren't saying derate him. It's basically each player has a point where this is the last time you're going to get top whack for him. And what the idea is, and it is a bit of an American sports idea, is you get the most value on the pitch out of a player and you know the right time to sell. So you can then go out, and I'll give you a prime example who's done that. Eden Hazard. He's went to Real Madrid at 29 with a year left on his contract for 100 mil, and he's been terrible for him.
Yeah. He's come out and said he's had the worst season.
And so Chelsea,
he's not fucking lying, like,
and
he's
potentially, and I'm sure next season he'll come back and he'll be better than he was. He had injuries and stuff. Yeah. But you could argue Chelsea have had the best years of his career, and they've sold him at the last point where they can.
Liverpool, Torres.
If you want to go real back, probably, I know Arsenal, even Henry, probably never got the best out of him, sold him. Just on the thing, obviously, to bring my club in, with COVID, is it moral for any team to, and this is because what's gone on with Arsenal this week, they're making redundancies to non-playing staff if 55 people are losing their job. And we know there is there's an argument to say these people, there's no work for them to do, so, you're streamlining. But is it moral to make people redundant while at the same time saying we're going to go out, give players hundreds of grand increases and spend 100 million?
It's a business, isn't it? So morality or morals go out right out the window, because you need to be careful with that, because is it moral to play Aubameyang 350 grand when, so once you start,
there's people who can't afford,
so once you start on that,
blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a slippery
slope. And the thing
it's not nice that your club's done it, because we had it with the furlough scheme, like Liverpool planning on furloughing people, and then people kicked off saying you're taking the piss, and then they rolled it back. It should never have been an issue in the first place, in my opinion. But these things happen in
business.
Yeah, it's just a numbers game.
It's not people aren't, because there's no privileged areas when it comes to this COVID.
Because I could say, for example, if you're, because the same arguments that are used could be used against any business. So it's like let's say Virgin Planes or whatever airlines, they now
Yeah, they're filing for bankruptcy.
they're having like they're letting half the staff go because they're only flying out half the planes. Now you could argue, well, Richard Branson's there, he could just keep on playing people, but because of the uncertainty, is it because it's football clubs and we like to think they're different?
Because it comes from a working class background, that's why.
The reality is,
or allegedly,
with the kind of owners now that people have got, American owners, saying, it's just a culture of, it's a business first. You can save money, they will basically.
It's a conflict, isn't it? Because if you're the owner of Arsenal Football Club and you've got 3 sons, you've got grandkids, and you've got a wife and whatever, your ultimate thing is...
Yeah, but you're worth 8.6 billion, Curtis,
you know. Well, then
it comes down to water, isn't it?
It comes down to what you're aiming at. Your ultimate thing is to see yourself right. They might say, we care about the club and da-da-da-da-da, but the fact of the matter is...
But he's seen himself right, hasn't he? So, it's not like he's gonna, by paying these people.
So the alternative is then...
But I do think ultimately, unfortunately, it's a business. So, if any business can let people go and that they no longer need, hence the word redundancy, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter if the business is worth... If it's Microsoft, they let people go if they no longer need it. It's just
the alternative.
Billionaires are billionaires for a reason.
Yeah, cutthroat.
They're not there to give out handouts or whatever, as bad as it sounds.
But the flip side of, alright, we don't let these people go, but we don't sign the players.
And then the same fans crying will be the same fans.
So it's a double-edged sword.
At the end of the day, it's about the football team, isn't it, ultimately? Yeah. As bad as... that's really the reality.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you...
So going off from one bad. Alright, so great discussion today, lads. I think we'll wrap it up at this point.
Leave it there. Go and get your wings from Gobble Up.
Gobbledygook.
And as I said, we'll be on Instagram with that video, so you can, as I said, if you want to see a black man sweat, you want to see someone who's gassed himself up to a point which he couldn't. I knew it was a downward slope, I'm not going to lie, I had no faith in you that you were going to do it.
Lad, as I said, this temperature caught me off, and I respect Peter because he had one and said actually he done well to do what he done. So
no, he did.
So just so you're aware as well, this will be getting released. The next pod will be out in 2 weeks, so it's every other Wednesday. So just catch us next time.
Big up. In
a bit.